Hey guys, in this video we're going to be comparing and contrasting two blog posts over the movie Birdman. We are going to be discussing 5 topics over these blogs: design, blogging form, publishing standards, content, and what makes or breaks the blog. So we're pretty much going to decide what makes this blog a good one or a bad one. So without further ado, let's get started.
The first blog we found was by a guy named Ben Hendricks. In his movie review, you notice multiple different things. One major thing is how the color just explodes with color. They put a lot of attention to detail, so that would appeal to their audiences. It's not a blog that you look at and think, oh my gosh, this is so plain. When you look at this blog, you see that they added lots of detail to keep the reader's eye. Besides just the pictures, he also added a trailer at the end of the blog. Overall, when you look at this page, the only thing that comes to mind is how visually appealing it might be for a reader. The second blog that we looked at was by a guy named Al Rodbell. When you look at his blog, one thing that comes to mind is, oh my gosh, this is so plain. Al doesn't care though. He says in his blog that he's not here to entertain us. But the design aspect of his blog is really boring. It literally just has a white background with black lettering. No pictures, no videos, nothing. Just a bunch of words. And that's really hard to read because there's no visual appeal to it. Nobody wants to read something that is plain.
Starting with the Screen Rant blog, the blogging form is much more appealing to the eye and easier to stay focused on than Al Rodbell's blog. Here's why. The blogger on Screen Rant's website uses a colorful font and inserts stills from the movie interlaced throughout the article, so as soon as the reader gets bored, BAM! There's a picture. Now Al Rodbell's blog review is just long and boring black text on white paper as if it is any other essay from Microsoft Word. I found myself a lot more interested in the Screen Rant article, as most people would, and I believe that the form has a lot to do with that. If you're going to captivate your audience and keep them interested, then you're going to have to make it visually appealing, because in today's day and age, content alone isn't going to be the selling point.
So when we're looking at our bloggers, Al Rodbell and Ben Kendrick, their publishing expectations are a little bit different when it comes to things like publications like New York Times and the USA Today. As bloggers, sometimes they get to create their own expectations and their own limitations. Now for Ben Kendrick, where he works for an internet company and publication, Screen Rant, there is a different expectation where his review is more informational. There's more of an expectation and a limitation on how much bias and how much information he puts in his pieces. Al Rodbell writes a personal blog where it's specifically, as he quotes in his introduction on his blog, this site is not to reach an audience but to reach the individual, and that's what his blogs reflect. Where Birdman and his content isn't strictly the content of the movie itself and what kind of cinematography and the things that actually happen in the film, it's actually his personal reaction. So where both blogs and both posts are very different, and both a reporting kind of standpoint, they both approach it different ways, but at the same time, they're writing what they want to write about, just different aspects and different content in the pieces.
What's up guys? I'm going to be talking about the content part of these two blogs. Screen Rant did a really good job of explaining the main plot of it. There aren't many spoiler alerts. He talks about it just enough to keep you on edge, to keep the attention there. Screen Rant did a really good job. It was kind of critical about how the movie might come across to people. Now on the other hand, Al Rodbell, his blog isn't as colorful as the other one. It's very bland and it's kind of like very dry and straightforward, and it's a lot of his opinions. And he ties in a lot of his opinions with the movie, and it just kind of, it's a little bit off-putting. This Al guy was kind of a little bit more open-ended. He kind of put his own personal twists on it. So between these two blogs, the cleanest cut of it would be Screen Rant. The other guy just kind of puts a lot of his opinions into it. As far as content goes, Screen Rant had the best clean-cut content about this entire film.
So what makes or breaks these blogs? To start off, both blogs had their own purpose. Both blogs were aiming for certain audiences. For Screen Rant, we believe what made their blog was the creative side to it. For example, they had pictures and trailers for the movie itself, and they gave the reader sort of an idea of what the movie was about. And what broke Al Rodbell's blog was the lack of creativity. He made it clear as a side note that he was not here to entertain us. He was simply here to give us the information. And sort of what broke this blog was the lack of creativity. He had no pictures, he had no videos, nothing like that. So like I said, certain blogs are for certain audiences. So there you have it. When reading blogs or movie reviews, remember that certain blogs are aimed for certain audiences. So in comparing and contrasting, it's a little hard considering the fact that they both serve their own purpose. But that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and see you next time.